Welcome to the TOCA Backstage Podcast. Join TOCA's Executive Director, Chris Wolf, in conversations with the artists and people behind the scenes of the Torrance Cultural Arts Foundation's performances and events.
Hi, this is Chris Wolf, the Executive Director of the Torrance Cultural Arts Foundation. Welcome to another edition of TOCA Backstage. Today it was my extreme pleasure to speak with Debbie and Grace Fisher. Grace has an amazing and inspirational story that I just felt I had to share with you. What brought this to light was this being the 30-year anniversary of the Americans with Disabilities Act. I found that Grace had made a submission to the Easter Seals Disability Film Challenge and reached out to her and just wanted to have a chat. And sure enough, it was truly inspirational. She is a bright light in what can be a very challenging world. So I urge you to take a listen, take a watch, check out her film entry in the. You can actually check it out on Facebook at the Easter Seals Disability Film Challenge, or you can look at our email or our blog or our newsletter, where I will add a link to her film. This young lady has a lot to teach us all about just living in the moment and enjoying life. So take a listen to my conversation with Debbie and Grace Fisher. Thanks. Welcome again to TOCA Backstage. It is my great honor to have Debbie and Grace Fisher. Thank you guys for taking the time to talk with me. I actually just learned about this project that you're working on called Amazing Grace. Now, is it correct that it's a full-length documentary?
The original was a full length, and then the Easter Seals Film Challenge is just a 5-minute video, and we actually only had a weekend to complete it. And Lynn Montgomery, she was the director of the feature-length documentary, and she also directed the 5-minute one as well.
Well, I watched it last night. It's amazing. So people can go on and vote for this, right?
Yeah.
And is there a specific site that they can go on to?
It's listed on YouTube as well as Facebook and Instagram. So there are several different ways to watch it, but I feel like YouTube is the quickest and easiest.
Well, we will definitely share it. We'll definitely share it on our post. So just for those who don't know, I actually was fortunate because a long time ago, your great aunt posted something on social media, which was a video of you playing the guitar, and I responded to her, let me know when I can book her, because it was a great video. And then do you mind telling people about what happened on your 17th birthday?
Yeah, of course. So it was my 17th birthday party. My actual birthday is November 20th, but it was my senior year of high school, and we were all applying to colleges, so November was a really busy time, so I decided to have my birthday party the first day of winter break in December, and this would have been December of 2014. I was a senior in high school, and on that day, it was just a typical winter day in Santa Barbara, so of course it was sunny outside and really nice, and I began to experience like a severe sharp pain in my neck and tingling in my hands, and it was just a very odd feeling, something that I'd never experienced before. And so I told my mom, I was like, either you need to take me to the ER right now, or we need to call like 911, because I could tell right away that like something was really off. And so we went to the ER, and the hospital is about like 10 minutes from our house, not even 10 minutes. And within that amount of time, I lost the ability to walk. And so it progressed super quickly. And then that night, I was intubated and I couldn't breathe on my own. And laying in the ER bed, I was like asking my mom to take like videos of me, because I was like, oh, this is just like, of course this would happen to me on my birthday party. But I just assumed like they'd fix it and I'd come home and everything would be okay. But that definitely was not the case. So that night I was admitted to the pediatric ICU, and I was there for 5 weeks, and it was there that they diagnosed me with acute flaccid myelitis, which is a really rare polio-like illness, and it's caused by a virus. They assume it was caused by the enterovirus D68, which is like a common cold virus, but for some unusual reason, it attacked my spinal cord, and it left me with a C1 incomplete spinal cord injury. So that was a result of the virus attacking my spinal cord. So, yeah.
So at this point, obviously the injury is continued on, so you basically can't move from the neck down. Is that correct?
Yes. Yeah.
And before that, you, as I had mentioned, you were, from what I could tell, you were on your way to being like the next, forgive me if you don't like her music, but Taylor Swift was the first person I could think of. You obviously, and they show a clip of you playing the guitar in this video that we will share. You obviously had a talent. So I can't imagine the feeling you were feeling, but you seem to have actually excelled even more, because I understand you've written a symphony or something.
Yeah. So after music has always been a huge part of my life, and I wanted to go to I was accepted into Berklee College of Music in Boston, and I was like preparing to study music in college, and so in the hospital, like, I was unable to move anything, and so that was really hard for me to accept that, like, okay, I'm not really able to play my instruments anymore, but I still had that knowledge of music and the love for music, and so I started composing and writing music, and there's a lot of adaptive technology that made it so I'm able to compose on the computer, and so that's what I use to write. I do it all on the computer, and I submit, or I like put my notes in one note at a time, and I use this device. It's actually in front of me right here. It's a sip and puff technology. So I sip and it clicks, and so that's how I play or put the notes in. And I'm studying at UCSB right now in the College of Creative Studies with a music composition degree, and it's pretty cool because my main professor there is someone that I grew up with. She was the music teacher at our church, and so she knew me before, and she knows me now, and she's been a huge help in helping me pursue this degree. And so yeah,
That's awesome. And Debbie, I can't imagine as a parent how it felt for you to watch your daughter go through this. But yet she still, I mean, she obviously has the will to want to continue. What was going through your mind through all this?
Well, I think that it helped that I had been a physical therapist for 20 years before this happened, because as soon as she had symptoms, I thought, she was a really playful 17-year-old. So when she first said that she had these symptoms, I thought, oh, you were playing on the trampoline, because for her 17th birthday, she had a big trampoline with a slide in the backyard.
It was a jumper slide.
It was a jumper slide. So I just assumed she kind of tweaked her neck, and I had her lie down on my bed, but her heart rate was really high, probably 180, and she was kind of clammy. And Grace was not the type to complain. She was not the type to say, oh, I'm sick, I need to go home. We were the kind of family, she was the kind of person that you're sick and you still go. There's a show on, and the show must go on. And because she not only played guitar, cello, and piano, she also was a dancer. And there were plenty of times where she wasn't feeling up to par, and she would still, work through it, because that's what you do when you're a performer. So it's very odd that all of her, friends were coming over, and it was supposed to be a fun party, that she was wanting to go to the hospital. So that alone was a big sign to me. And I think that it helped being a therapist, because I think I was capable of being calm on the outside, but of course I was freaking out on the inside. And when we got to Cottage Hospital, I was capable of being perhaps a little more assertive than the average person, because I could tell that there was something serious going on. And Chris, I'll send you the full length version of Amazing Grace. Did you see the 56-minute version?
No, I just saw the 5-minute one.
Yeah, I'll send it to you. We're not supposed to share it with everyone, but I think that since you're doing this story, I think it would be applicable. And perhaps one of these days we can get to Orange County or LA and show it in person, because that was definitely a highlight for us to be able to show that movie. And we had Q&As afterwards, and we loved the audience response and what they had to say. But anyways, back to the time in the hospital with Gracie. It was a struggle, and you're living on endorphins. I mean, probably the first month, I lived on kind of the endorphins of just trying to get through the moment, and really specifically focused on just trying to get Gracie to feel as comfortable as she could, because she didn't have a voice. She couldn't speak. So she was never left alone, because she couldn't push a call button. She could not use her hands. So we were so focused just on taking care of her. That's where my heart and soul was. And ironically, I was given, through the grace of God, I was given some peace through that moment. And I don't know how. I think it's because of beautiful people in our community and this world that were just, keeping us in their love and prayers. My aunt being one of them that so she's so sweet. My Aunt Glenna was there with us the entire way.
I have to. It's. I mean, your stories are so inspiring, and I think now, I think especially now with people, everyone is being affected by COVID or losing their jobs, and so there seems to be this want to sort of whine, at least me. I whine a lot to my wife about, oh, I can't do this, I can't do that, I can't do shows in the theater. Um, but what's so inspiring is your will to sort of follow your art. What do you, Grace? What do you think was sort of key to that? To really, I mean, want to continue following your art?
Yeah, I guess music and art was a part of my life before, and it's a part of who I am now, and it's a part of who I'm always going to be. And I think I can't put my mind in a place of of wanting to pursue something that I can't physically do. I have to focus on just what I have and what I can do. And honestly, the coronavirus and stuff, I feel like it's not that new to like our daily life. I feel like I've been kind of living the same way I was before COVID. I focus on my music and my art, and we have a garden outside that I like to spend a lot of time in. And if I just focus on the I don't know, I feel like this sounds like very, I don't know, I just focus on the beauty that's around me, and that's all I can do, because if I focus on like my losses and stuff, that doesn't really put me in a very good headspace. And it really helps that I have a really great family, and I just have felt supported by the Santa Barbara community, and I'm very happy and content, like in spite of what's happened to me. And it's been 5 years now, so I feel like I've lived this life long enough to where I'm not really focused on the life that I had before, because I feel like I'm very content in what I'm doing now. I just can't move. Like I just have to have someone help me. And so,
Debbie, you were going to say something?
I'm really grateful that Grace had the opportunity to learn about music and dance and art prior to becoming disabled, that she had the desire to learn piano first. And I'm grateful that we were able to provide piano lessons for her, because she learned so much that never left her brain. So she had the skills, the beginning skills of music to carry her forward. And she did have some guitar training, and certainly at Berklee College of Music, it was going to be much more extensive, but she was largely self-trained by the time she got the guitar, which was her freshman year of high school. And the footage that you'll see in the movie, she had only been playing for a couple years. So it's really hard if I think to myself, oh my God, she was so good and she had only been playing for a couple years. I can only imagine if she had had the training, and that just breaks my heart, and it's really not healthy to go there. And Gracie doesn't go there, so why should I?
Right.
You know? But she has that knowledge base of all those instruments that now she can write music for every single instrument in the orchestra. And I just feel so grateful that she had that knowledge early along. And I grew up in Santa Barbara. I was in the Monroe Elementary Orchestra. It was super, basic. I didn't really see the necessity of the arts as I was growing up. I certainly enjoyed it, but I didn't see the necessity. But for Gracie, it was a necessity. It was a necessity for her well-being and for her joy. And it was just such a huge part of who she was and who she became that it makes me value the arts so much more. Like seeing Grace, and I think one of the reasons she's able to find such joy in life is she had the arts growing up, and I'm just so grateful she was able to have that experience in so many different levels.
It reminds me of an old saying. I'm going to butcher it. I'm sure this isn't the accurate actual saying, but I heard it was Confucius said that a bird sings because it has to, not because it necessarily wants to. And it's kind of like a musician. It's like you're born with a talent. You just have to express it. And I mean, for me, I can't play a tune for anything. I can't sing. I have no musical ability other than to appreciate it. And it always amazes me to watch a musician work, whether it's composing or playing a guitar. So I'm in awe of the fact that you were able to grasp the, sort of the sense of music and keep it in your soul. And then just now, at least you have still a way to express it. I mean, that's awesome. What do you see going forward? What's your hope? I mean, you've composed a symphony. I mean, what's next on the horizon for you?
Well, I also have a foundation, and we provide music and art workshop and dance workshops for kids with special needs, and so it's really that's just as much on my forefront as music and art. I feel like in my own life, it's just really great to bring these activities to kids living with a disability, because I just knew that when I was in the hospital, it was really the only thing that brought me joy and peace of mind, especially when you're in a hospital setting where like therapies are just not fun at all. And it kind of takes you, it really just puts you in the present moment, and you're just focused on what you're creating. You're not focused on a disability and things that you can't do. Because art and music is something that, and dance is something that can be adapted in a lot of different ways. And so that's been really fun, and I'm really passionate about that as well.
And if somebody wants to learn more about your foundation, how would they find out about it?
Yeah, we have a website, gracefisherfoundation.org, and you can see what we're doing there. And then we also have a YouTube channel, and with all the things that's happening with COVID, we can't have our in-person workshops and activities. And so I've put together some like virtual art tutorials, and we have the woman that teaches our dance classes. She's done a couple videos as well. So it's been a challenge, but also kind of fun for me to think about different ways to bring the arts to this population, like, despite what's going on around the world.
That's awesome. I think that's wonderful. But now, Debbie, I had a question. You were a physical therapist, and Grace had just mentioned, physical therapy wasn't anything kind of fun. Was there ever tension with, come on, Gracie, you can do it? Or, I mean, I just know, like, with my wife and I, she's a teacher, and if I try to do something that she's really good at, it's like, come on, Grace, you can do this. Did you guys ever have issues like that?
Well, one thing is I have a much greater appreciation for the therapy's not fun. Like, I would prescribe exercises and things for my patients, and I thought, well, of course, like, you're going to do this because it's great for your body. Like, you do your therapy exercises. But in retrospect, I look at, like, wow, like, what I gave as exercises was not a lot of fun. And if I were to go back in the work environment, I think that I would try to make it a little more fun. And one way that I think we're doing that together is through the Grace Fisher Foundation, because dance, art, music, you can make it therapeutic. And Gracie certainly, I mean, right now she's holding her head up on her own, but when this first happened, she couldn't even hold up her head. We had to hold up her head. She had a brace holding her head up. And so the therapy of just holding a paintbrush in her mouth, that actually was really therapeutic for her. It got her neck a lot stronger. And it also got her mentally in a better place. She wasn't focused on what she couldn't do. She was focused on the art that she was creating in front of her. And to see these children that we provide services for, they just find such joy, and the parents have so much joy in seeing that their kids are in a safe place, creating art or dance, or we hope to have more music in the future. From a therapy standpoint, one of the hardest things, for 5 weeks in the pediatric ICU, she did not get out of bed. She didn't get out of bed until we got to Craig Hospital in Colorado. And it was so scary getting her in the Hoyer lift and putting her in a wheelchair. But I knew as a physical therapist, this is the best thing for you. And so I just said wholeheartedly, I know you're scared. I know you're in pain, but this is good for you. And I think my therapy knowledge, knowing that she had to get out of this bed, that's what she had to do. That was helpful. And every step from a physical therapy standpoint, I would say, I know this is going to cause you some pain, but I know it's a good thing for you. And I think if I didn't have that physical therapy knowledge, I would say, no, like, don't do it. Like, it's hurting her. No, don't hurt Grace. She's been through enough. I would maybe be putting on the brakes because I wouldn't want to put her through anything else. She had already been through so much. But as a therapist, I knew, like, she has to push through this, and we're going to push through it together. And I promise that I will make sure that you're safe at the end of it. And we did, but it was scary.
Well, I got to say, you both are a great inspiration. Now, last question, Grace. If you were encountered by somebody, or one of the things that we do as an organization is we also try to encourage and mentor young up-and-coming talent, whether it's music, dance, acting, whatever. And I always like to ask this of people: if you were to meet a young performer, what words of encouragement would you give them? What to sort of send them on their way?
Let's see. Practice and enjoy every moment, because this sounds cliche, but, like, you never know when something might happen and you might not be able to do it again. And I think I just totally, when I was a performer and stuff, I totally saturated myself with what I was creating, and I think just enjoy it. And I think that's the main thing. Just enjoy what you're doing, and be present with what you're creating. I think art and music is something that is it outlives us, and so it's really special to be able to create something that kind of is a time capsule. And so I think that's the best advice that I can give, is just enjoy.
And I think that's great advice. I don't think anyone has put it quite so well. Debbie, Grace, thank you so much for taking the time. I really do appreciate it. I will take you up on the offer of trying to get you guys down to Torrance to show the movie and do a Q&A. It would be great to actually see you in person and show the film. In the meantime, we will share the Easter Seals clip or the YouTube link on our site, so people can go on there and vote for you, and hopefully we will make your film a winner.
Thank you.
Thank you guys so much. We'll talk soon.
Thank you,
Thank
Chris.
you.
Take care.